today we should spy the personal lives of the Romantics, in order to understand their own poems, because it's really difficult to understand the works of these Romantic poets without shedding light upon their personal life. A life full of scandals, wine, drugs, women, and other affairs. They had a very paradoxical mood, often drowsy, often heavily drunk, addicted to notorious drugs, having affair with women, and illegal children abandoned. But at the same time, they could have impulse on making an excellent part of art in literature. They were victims and at the same time heroes. They were stars, but at the same time neglected. They have a spontaneous imagination. They could tell poems spontaneously in the streets without preparation. They have a vivid, high degree of sensuality towards the good and the bad, the better and the worse. They produce vivid lines of poetry, of poems, high self-expression, vivid, cute, very fit for the Romantic movement as a literary, artistic and cultural movement. Let's start by the first generation, the Williams. We have first generation made of two Williams, William Wordsworth, W.Blake, and we have Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Well, as for William Wordsworth was born in 1770 and died in 1850. So it is called first generation because they got a long lifetime. William Wordsworth was lucky to have an instructed father. He used to sit in his rich library to read Milton, Shakespeare and Spenser. He was taught first to read by his mother. Then he was sent to an upper class school called Penrith, where he follows a very good education about the morals, religion, the standards of or the good norms of behavior in society. But at the age of 8, he lost his mother, and he was sent by his father to live in the Lancashire. His beloved sister Dorothy, he was separated from her. Dorothy was sent to live with her relatives in the Yorkshire. Plus, at the age of 13, he lost his father. His father fell down from his horse in the midst of a big forest, and trapped by a breathless night and the darkness of mountains, he fainted and fell asleep there, lost consciousness. And a few days when he returns home, he was ill and died. At the age of 20, William Wordsworth was traveled to the Alps, where he let himself be schooled by nature. Some scholars even said that he worships nature. In the midst of the Alps, he used to send letters to his Dorothy, sister, and in the letters he used to write, "Dear sister" or "Dear Dorothy," expressing for her the spirits kept under the spell of this nature. And one of his beautiful sentences was that he told her that he expresses his feelings toward the immeasurable heights of woods, decayed, never to be decayed. So the immeasurable heights of the woods, decayed, never to be decayed, under the clean blue sky. So these were some of his letters to Dorothy. 8 or 9 years after the separation from Wordsworth and Dorothy, they could be reunited when Wordsworth was back to England, reunited with Dorothy, Dorothy was herself a poetess and essayist. and diaries, sorry, and they used to live together, producing excellent poems, like the Daffodils, where there is a description of the oak trees, the flowers, the rivers, the flowers, the daffodils, the oak trees especially, because it was a tree special for the area where he lived, where Wordsworth and Dorothy were set there. When they were united, as I said, they go to the Wye Valley in Tintern, in Tintern Abbey, where they remind that pre-industrial place, flowers, rivers, nature, the echoes of the mountains, the fresh air, the breeze, and at the dawn, the sunset, the sunfall, all is described in the daffodils. In a language as simplistic as nature. Wordsworth is very simple in his poems. In Lucy's poems, for example, Lucy poems, he has a series of poems called Lucy. Some said that Lucy refers to his sister Dorothy. Some said that it's a hybrid character, but it's about a young lady who died so young. He said, for example, strange fits of passion have I known, and I will dare to tell, but in the lover's ear alone not also me befell, till saying what fond and wayward thoughts will slide into a lover's mind. Oh, mercy to myself, I cried, if Lucy should be died. So a slumber did my spirit seal, and those marvelous poems, vivid lines thrown ink on paper by Wordsworth to express his simple language to cope with his earthly existence in nature. As far as his personal life is concerned, it also has little scandalous rumors and facts. It is said that he met Annette, a French lady, when he was in France, and because Wordsworth was enchanted by the Republican movement, and he knew Annette and got a daughter, Caroline, with her. But he was separated from her because of difficult financial situation and the tense relationship between Britain and France at that time. Once in England back, he was married to Mary. He is a friend of his childhood, with whom he got 5 children. We have John, Thomas, Dora, Catherine, and Willie, or the little William. William Wordsworth died, as we said, 1850 after I think long disease. Anyway, he died leaving a series of poems called Poem to Coleridge. Coleridge was his favorite friend, with whom he shared lyrical ballads, and this poem to Coleridge was given a few months after his death, published by his wife Mary, and this is what we call today the Prelude. The Prelude is the left series of poems, unfinished by Wordsworth, because he plans to make it bigger and larger and lengthy and longer than that. But he died, and the poems were published by his wife. So hardship at orphanage, knowing a mistress, having a wife, be schooled by nature, be overwhelmed by nature, taken by nature, makes the giant poet Wordsworth with his marvelous poems. That is as far as William Wordsworth is concerned in the series of first generation of the Romantics. So we should move then to William Blake. Well, as for William Blake also is considered as the precursor of Romanticism because he published 10 years before lyrical ballad Songs of Innocence, Songs of Experience, which are considered as the gentlest of all his poems. He was born in 1757 and died in 1827 by liver failure. He was, particularly with William Blake, he is different from the Romantics because his dream first wasn't to become a poet at all. He dreamt to be a painter, and indeed he was schooled in drawing school, and indeed he becomes a painter. And at the age of 14, he was apprenticed as an engraver. And then he was sent to he followed his studies in the Royal Academy. He was married to Catherine, and he remains a childless man, and he remained also loyal to Catherine, who used to print his poems, which have become famous for us these days. William Blake got a dream during his infancy, and this dream has become a source of his adult imagination. So he moved from London to Peckham, where he dreamt, he meditated upon the trees, the grassy landscapes, the color of the sun, of the flowers, of the trees, and this could build up in his mind a vision that accompanies him all along his poems. He disliked his world, which he described as chaotic, oppressive, repressive, contradictory, paradoxical. He fears too much for the children, and he feels so much for the innocent children who were suffocated chimney sweepers sold by their parents between the age of 4 and 7. It is really catastrophic. He used to call the Industrial Revolution as dark, satanic mills. And an incident happens in Britain. It is very famous. One of the mill factories caught fire, and it was destroyed, and this really William Blake becomes rejoiced and wished had kept a hope for all the mechanized industrial world to follow the same end of this mill factory burnt in the year of 1791. For Samuel Taylor Coleridge, the friend and the companion to William Wordsworth, he is a special, also a unique poet out all of the Lake poets, Southey and William Wordsworth. Coleridge was born in 1772 and died by a heart attack in 1834 because of heart attack. He was known as a poet who has no competitor, especially at the level of meter and expressive imagination. Who doesn't know in Xanadu, Kubla Khan, the stately pleasure dove decree, famous Kubla Khan vision, a dream that he has made. And the day after, remembering this oriental vision, he hurries to narrate the dream for us, which is called also the title of a dream, or the title of a fragment, or Kubla Khan, a poem unfinished but expressed in a way that has till now no competition at the level of imagination and expression and lines and meter. He has another poem personally I do too much like, and entitled The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. And out of the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, the British could profit from a bulk of expressions, idiomatic expressions. The most famous one is, of course, the metaphor of the albatross around our neck. When you have a burden of an old car or hard work, you say this work is an albatross around my neck, to mean that it's difficult, annoying, and as a burden. So, his poems have become a source of inspiration for idiomatic expressions and for proverbs. At the his yes, his personal life, he was married to Sarah, with whom he got 4 children: Hartley, Berkeley, Sarah, and Derwent. But unfortunately, because of his too much drugs, opiums that he used to be addicted to in a destroying way, demolishing way, he was separated from his wife, who could no more endure his status. Also, he was unfortunately separated from the companion and the friend of his literary career and friendship and life, William Wordsworth, because William Wordsworth, both poets are or they fall out. William Wordsworth is famous for stability and discipline, while because of the drugs, Coleridge could no more control his mood, unstable and wild, aggressive. So they were separated, unfortunately. He suffered from anxiety. It's something very the outcome of his status, and depression. He flees from from Britain to settle in Malta and Sicily in Italy, in a hope to cure his case, and there he produced marvelous poems. Samuel Taylor Coleridge isn't only a poet, but also a philosopher, theologian, and a lecturer. He is famous for Kubla Khan, as I said, as far as poetry is concerned, Dryam the Ancient Marina, Christabel, and he has also an excellent book called Literaria Biographia, or Biographia Literaria, and he used to be an excellent also lecturer of Milton, Shakespeare classics in the university, but unfortunately his case with he was addicted to notorious drugs, and this caused him a very, very difficult, isolated life. But out of that dark atmosphere, this poet succeeds to give us excellent ballads, excellent lyrics, poems about life, animals, transcendentalism, especially in the rhyme of the Ancient Marina and Christabel, idiomatic expressions, proverbs, and full of vividness and beauty of the language. Sometimes a language that seems so simple, but deep and intense. He's in the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. You can see very short expressions and sometimes long ones, but all rhyming together to make those beautiful poems written by Coleridge for us.